Hey everybody, this is Edmund Lee, and I'm going to go over some quick tips for fantasy football, so you can, you can pretty much know some cool things. Especially, this is for newbies. If you already play fantasy football, then this might not be advantageous to you. So you can come down here and click more Yahoo sites, go to fantasy football. Sometimes it'll be up here, depending on how often you use the. The more you use this, the more Yahoo will put it up here. I strongly recommend you get the Yahoo Fantasy Football app so you can switch your lineups and change things in real time. So I have two different leagues here. You know what? I'm going to go to this league because I have a lot of new people in this league, and I want to show you something. So you might think that I'm losing here, but I'm actually, technically, I'm not losing in this game right now. But I can show you. Um, let's go. Let's just dive in. So let's go into this game first. So you go into your matchups. So I'm still the favorite. And the reason I'm the favorite is because if you look, Jody Nelson did okay with 8 and 11. Those were the top receivers that she had for the game. This is a new person too. She had an auto pick, so that's why she has so many Packers. But Eddie Lacy kind of under-delivered with 4 points. Um, so my running backs and my receivers, they're probably going to score more than that. 8 points was pretty low for Seattle, but um, New England might score more with Miami. But we just have to see how the game plays out. So if you want to see your bench players, see how they're doing, you just click here, and you can see what your bench players are doing for the day. Now, what's important is that you can check here your fantasy matchups, which these don't come out until like sometimes Friday or Saturday before the game, and it'll show tips of 4 out of 5 stars on what's the matchup. So the matchup basically you talk about Giants secondary could be good, pass rush is shaky, and then they'll talk about last year. It's got a red mark because they're saying that New York was one of the top 10 in giving up fantasy points last year. But you can't always compare last year to this year. There's new coaches, new setups, new players, and still you have people that what we call in fantasy league studs. Matthew Stafford is one of those where you can start him uh, most of the times regardless of the defense that they're playing. Now, if they're playing in Seattle or something like that, you might want to reconsider. But a lot of players like Adrian Peterson, I'm pretty much starting him every week regardless of who he's playing because he's kind of matchup proof. But let's go to your team. So let's go to where you normally would log in. You see your team. Here's some cool things that you can look at. Okay. One you see week 1, week 2. It shows the different matchups throughout the week and their projected points. This is really good to use when you're looking down the road to see, who has good matchups on your bye weeks when you think about your players' bye weeks, and then also when you're thinking about picking up players off the waiver wire that may help you during a bye week or help you in weeks 14, 15, and 16, which is the playoffs. So you can look at projected, stats. What are projected stats? How many percent start? This is basically percentage people of all the people playing Yahoo. How many of the, how many people have him on their team and they're starting him? So you can see that. Some of my people are my reserve guys that may break out. So you always got to have a couple breakout possibilities. But this is the game day decision. So a lot of things going to help you on game day to pick who you want to start. So this kind of tells you what's the opponent ranked for his position. The green means these people usually give up good numbers for individuals. Like he's ranked 28, Julius Thomas, but he's Julius Thomas playing for Denver, so I'm going to start him regardless. So these are just the kind of the matchup here, and then you can always look. You want to look at the, you go to fantasy matchups, and it'll tell you the knowledge. So you get the information here. Okay, so you can kind of use this to guide who you want to start and who you may not want to start. All right. So you got game day calls. You look at kind of little injury. They give you injury status. Game day. That's why a lot of times I don't set my category till I don't set my stuff till Sunday. Um, then you got split stats, like if he's outside, what is this person um, like indoors, outdoor, home, away, night. Uh, this happens after the season kind of starts, and they'll give you more information on that. See if this person plays different on different different types of setting, uh, environments, etc. This is his rank. What is position rank? He's a projected rankings 15th out of all fantasy players, 11th. You know where these people ranked. Like they have Robert Griffin ranked higher than Matt, but I'm not trusting that till I see it. Now you can also click the play button, and Yahoo will educate you on what they think this person is going to do for the week. So you can look at all of those. You can look at the opponents. Look at the opponents that you have throughout the season. This helps you plan your best matchups and your lineups, and you can look further down the road to see when you want to play certain people, when they have buys, when you should be looking for replacements, etc., etc. Okay. This is just research. You look at the depth chart. You know what do they have listed as wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. You just kind of look up if they're back up, if they, where are they on the depth chart. If you want to look at that's good for when you're looking at dropping players or adding players. You can go here to drop a player. To add a player, or you can go up here. But let's just say we're in here. So this is the adding. This is the waiver wire. All right. So these are all the people that are available that you can pick up. Now, when you pick them up, see if they have September 8th, September 10th. These are people that I drop that I don't want for whatever reason, and I cannot pick them back up till they clear waivers on the 8th or on the 10th. And so the other people you can just pick up if you want them right now. You can just grab them by clicking. Let's just say by clicking here, and they pick up your player. Then you just pick up who you want to trade the person for. And I won't do this, but just showing you what it looks like. So they would then compare, how many people have been adding this person lately, how many people add them, how many people have been dropping them. I'll show you where transaction trends are too. How many percent owner. You just kind of select and then you can check out, do your research before you pick up somebody. What's their rank? What opponents are you picking them up for a bye week substitution? You can check out their ranking, but I would definitely cancel this because I don't want to go through with that. But then here you can check QB, running back, any position you're looking at. You can check to see how, what are they looking for, right for remaining games, next 4 weeks, certain week projection. If you're looking to do a fantasy substitution for a bye week, then you can do that, and you can show your team so that you can compare your team versus others. See if you got anybody that you can pick up that ranks higher than your players. So this is a cool tool. Of course, under players, under here, you got injury reports. This is definitely big to come and check out the injury reports. If you don't do anything else right before game time, I would definitely tell you, check out injury report, make sure that your players playing, because once you start them, they're in there. Even if they don't play, then you get a 0. Roster changes, this is stuff that really powerful to look. Is somebody eligible or are they not eligible? Active and inactive is a major part here. You want to make sure that a lot of this is defense and stuff. So you can just kind of look at that. The can't cut list is certain players that you've drafted that you cannot cut. Okay, you can't cut because it will mess up the flow of the game. People can't pick up. You cut Drew Brees and somebody picked them up and just load up on like the Super All Stars. So that's not how possible to do. Research is good. You can come in here. It's going over. It's kind of like an overview. of the available player matchup rankings, who's hot, who's scoring the most in the league right now. And this is only because the first game is played. But if you want to see kind of trending, and this is my, a lot of people don't know about this, but transaction trends, they try to see who's trending and who, people are picking up, who people are dropping. You can search by this to see if one of the players you have is getting dropped a lot. Maybe you can check out why. And then, maybe some information out on them that you may not know, and then you can check and see who's getting added. And you can look at all the different positions, see if you got a weak tight end or a weak kicker or whatever, and you want to pick up somebody. You come in here to see who's being dropped and added, and then you can look into why. Who's hot basically covers who's hot that week. Like, who's cracking. After the first game, this will change. More players will be in there. And you can see who's doing what. That'll be way a bit later. So this is matchup rankings. You can look and see who's got great matchups. Who they got at 5 stars. Some of your players may be in here, some not. And just a good way to kind of check. And then you can always go to your team. My players, my opponent. So you can see what your opponent, what they rack, what they're scheduled to have. I'm not really worried. Like, there's some of their best players are the kicker, defense, a couple, player. I'm not really concerned about losing this week. This week is going to be a W. But, and I'm not saying it arrogantly, I'm just saying it because Eddie Lacy got hurt and didn't really give them. If Eddie would have went hard, then it could have been tough for me. And just a rule of thumb, I am very leery on playing people on Thursday nights. It's just been statistically proven that people just don't play as well, and I think it's because of the short week. Green Bay didn't have any excuses. It was the first week of the season, but usually the short week, it's just not enough film time. Sometimes defenses get tired, and sometimes they take advantage. It's just be very cautious when you're playing Thursday games. And sometimes on the opposite, I've noticed that people show out a little bit more on Monday Night Football because they get more rest. So it's just my theory. It's you do what you want to do, but that's just something that I do. Stat tracker, I think you can. I don't know if you can even see this because I had it sharing my screen. I don't know if you can see it, but stat tracker is basically a way. It's kind of what the app does. It's a way to kind of stay live with your stats. So if you're watching games or you're doing something else or you're at a bar or something, stat tracker will follow the games kind of play by play and follow your team, and you'll be able to see the game. That's like the most live interaction. If you want to do a trade, you can put people on like the trading block. You can basically trade with somebody or say that, hey, you got so-and-so is on the trading block. You want to put them up there and let people know that you're wanting to trade for them and what you're wanting to trade for. That's a little more, in depth. Watch list just means you want to tag somebody. If you tag somebody, you can find somebody to watch. You're just keeping up with them. Like, say you want to watch somebody like Johnny Manziel or something. You just want to see what he's up to. Your watch players will be in here, so you don't have to go search for them every time. And I would just kind of play around with this. I don't want this to be too much longer than it is. But this is and always, make sure you know your scoring settings. Like in this league, the defense is ranked different than what I thought it was. So I didn't get as many points as I thought I'd get. Like sacks, in one of my other leagues, is 2 points and not 1 point, which took about 3 points off of my score because Seattle had 3 sacks and I only got 3 points for that. Normally I get 2. But it is what it is. So with that being said, that is the steal and deal on the beginning of fantasy football. I can do more videos that'll go in more depth. That really gives you um, a good gist of what's going down. So there you have it, and hopefully that gave you some value on your fantasy football.